you are pursuing should not determine your level of joy and happiness. Some have fame, but they don't have peace. Some are popular today, but they don't have peace. Meanwhile, there are ordinary people laughing freely, appreciating little victories that they've gotten, and enjoying meaningful relationships. Determine, decide, choose to be happy. A woman, for instance, selling fruit by the roadside may still dance and laugh without her customers. All right? Even when the customers are there, she still laughs. She has not sold anything today. She doesn't know what the children will eat after the day, but she still laughs with her customers. She still smiles. Some persons, see, let me tell you something. The reason why your business is not moving is because of your countenance, because of the way you look. You're not friendly at all. You're living your life as if the whole world is on you. No, that's not the best route. That's not the best way to go. Smile. Make the devil angry. Don't make your enemies feel like they are succeeding over you. Smile. That's your neighbor that always wants you to be angry. By the time they see you angry, they will go inside and lock themselves in the room and be laughing because they've succeeded. Choose to smile. A father struggling financially may still return home and play joyfully with the kids. Hey, how are you? How was school today? That man may not have 10 kobo in his pocket. He may not have 1,000. What is 1,000? Even 500. That man may even be thinking of how he's going to step out of the room tomorrow morning to go back to work. But he comes home smiling, rejoicing. Then before you know, a phone call comes in. Send me your account number. But by the time you go home and you become the Lion of the tribe of Judah, to your family, to your children, to your neighbors, because there are things you are pursuing and that contract didn't enter for you, you fail more failure will come on your way because of your disposure, because of your composure, because of the way you carry yourself, because you are always, you hate happiness. As a matter of fact, let me say so. Happiness is not always connected to wealth. Choose happiness. All right. Choose happiness. And choosing happiness does not mean pretending problems do not exist. Problems are there. Tackle them. Tackle them. Handle them. Joyfully. Handle them. Some may even be too challenging that you'll be forced to, frown, do a lot of things. But then choose to be happy. Don't live as if the whole world is crumbling on you. Never. Don't do that. Because by the time you do that, you make the enemies happy, you make the devil happy, and you make, some people are more excited when they see you not rejoicing. Some people are more excited when they see you crumbling. Some people are more excited when they see you crying. Problems, all right, should not be something that you want to carry on your head all the time. Refusing to allow problems to control your entire life, all right? As a matter of fact, there are people who wake up every morning already angry, bitter, and frustrated. Waking up from bed in the morning, they wake up angry. Why? That's not the best way to go. They complain about everything and anything and everyone around them. Slowly, negativity becomes part of their lifestyle and is bad, is destructive. So, what do you have to do? Always put happiness first. Happiness, as a matter of fact, grows when you practice gratitude. Be grateful. If anyone gives you anything, no matter how small, be grateful. If you can still breathe, there is hope. If you can still think, there is hope. There is possibility if you can still wake up each day. When there is life, people say there is hope, and that is true. Life is giving you another chance. So, do everything possible, all right, to be happy. Because the happier, the merrier. And if you are driving people away from you because you feel you are angry, because you feel things are not going on smoothly, that's your destiny helper. That person that is meant to bring smile to your face might even see you and walk away. The only thing you need is just one connect. One connect. One person that you meet can change your life forever. So be careful the way you treat people. That's what it means. Always choose happiness. Have a beautiful day ahead of you. And I'm ready and waiting to see you at the other side of success. Bye-bye for now.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Erojim Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@erojim.com. Website www.erojimdesign.com. Erojim. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
Thank you very much, Ramsey, for that dose. I call it morning dose for the day. Right now, we go straight to the newspaper review segment, and we are starting with the Punch newspaper. Besides the nameplates, we have first story: storm over fake agency probe as reps prepare final report. Details on page 26. Next story, which is the star story. 2027, Tinubu, Atiku, Obi weighs ex-governors for campaign DG roles. So, our governors are multitasking. Details on page.
They are ex now, so.
Ex-governors. Okay, that's ex-governors. Well, some writers, Uzodimma Al-Makura, Tambuwal among front runners for presidential campaign DGs. I then opens 2027 presidential campaign August 19. Obi may pick campaign DG from Southwest. APC, ADC, NDC to unveil presidential campaign team next week. Well, it's about to go down, as they say. Tinubu to review state police bill September 3rd. Details on page 29. Labour gives federal government August 11 ultimatum over wage award. Details on page 7. 30 years after Atlanta Gold, I have not been rewarded, and that's coming from Bonfiere
Joe.
Okay, Bonfrey Joe. This is Joe from Free Ray. That's what I see there.
Ray.
Bonfrey Ray.
Okay.
Details on page 30.
TN at 100 awards. All right, then let's quickly move to the footer where we have NRS improves 30% tax on corporate crypto profits under new guidelines. And finally, from the Daily Times newspaper this morning, Atiku to Tinubu, 767 moribund, 335 distressed factories negate your economic prosperity claim. These are the headlines from the Daily Times newspaper. So let's quickly move to the next point of call right here, which is the Daily Trust.
Okay, thank you, Ramsey. The Daily Trust has its first story below the nameplates. The first one reads, 2027, Makinde Fayemi Oyinlola meets Obasanjo. Well, the elections are getting serious when all these meetings start to happen. Next story, Oshun Adeleke seeks president's intervention on killings. Details on page 10. Phantom Council, ICPC concludes probe. Okay, there's about to be an unleashing. I don't know how ready you are, but check page 16 for that detail. Star story, we paid 50 million naira to rescue Kebbi George's release, and that's coming from the family. Okay.
I think that sounds, I don't know. But then the issue of ransom payment, maybe we'll talk about some of the time, because what we saw in the news that was read this morning seems to be a bit different. Yeah, contrary to what we hear right now.
I like the fact that everybody's giving their side of the story as it hurts. So no, so that we disseminate fake news, or we curtail fake news. State police bill ready for Tinubu's review September 3rd. Those are the scanty headlines we have for you on the Daily Trust. Do us get yourself a copy. Next point of call is the Daily Sun.
All right, on the Daily Sun newspaper this morning, let's quickly look at the headlines. Oshun Guba, Uzodinma declares poll must win for APC. Poll must win for APC. All right. The writer says, I will beat Adeleke, says Oyebanji. And now, so the next headline, 2027, restore confidence in electoral process to avert voter apathy. Onekan urges federal government. One writer to that story says, bad elections breed bad governance and misery.
And that's one of the bishops, right?
Yeah, that's one of the bishops.
The Catholic bishops.
All right. This one says presidency sets September 3 for state police bill. To riders to that story, and one of the riders says begins consultation, invites Nigerians to shape policy in policing. AGF assures safeguards will prevent political abuse. Governor Obori unveils $100 million fund for the risking of investment in Delta. One writer to that story, and it says Shetima hails state as investment friendly. Catholic bishops, Hashim expresses concern over president's remark, Nigeria's democracy, says 2027 elections must not fall below 2015 benchmark. All right, these are some of the things that a lot of people have actually reacted to, and we'll look at that in our in one of our discussions today. Nigeria may pay less for petrol as oil price tumble over Trump's new stand on Iran. But does it really affect the price of pump price in Nigeria? I don't think so, because the last time the Strait of Hormuz was open, it didn't affect anything in Nigeria. I don't know why.
Well, that's why they say me.
May, yeah, it's May, conditional statement. Even though the government were, all right, marketers do this. Marketers say, if you force us, we shut down. And everyone was held to ransom, and Nigerians are paying through their nose. A fresh concern trailed recruitment of Nigerian women into Russian Alabuga scheme. All right, those are the headlines for you this morning on the Daily Sun newspaper, as we quickly move from the Daily Sun to the nations.
Okay, let's quickly scroll through this. 2027, Makinde leads Oyinlola Fayemi to visit to Obasanjo. Details on page 31. NEC approves $45 billion Gazelle 2 facility to refinance loans. Details on page 2. We will secure victory, says Uzodinma. See Oshun 2026 on page 6. Office of the Citizen in the arms of Morpheus. See Ray Expo on page 25. The Star story reads, National Policing Bill gets 7-week action plan. Working groups open portal for public imputes. It is Tinubu's most consequential reforms. Actually, it's really a consequential reform. Well, when they say opens portal for public imputes, that should mean that Nigerians now can make their own opinions. I don't know. Just read up that detail to get yourself more informed. UAE deepens Africa's ties with $71 billion investment. From Fresh, well, you want to read that. It doesn't appear so clear from my end here. Kano Central Senator Hanga dumps NDC. On page 4, you see that. JAM targets digital reform. On page 27, you have that. Shetima, states should complete one job creation investment. All of these details are available on The Nation. Get yourself a copy.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Priscilla, for those headlines. Well, this is going to be the size of the headlines for you this morning. To avoid fake news, pick a copy of any of these headlines, of these national dailies, and go through it for yourself. Global Television does not have editorial contribution to any of the headlines. All right. We'll take a quick break. After this break, Ogochukwu Mobuna will be up with Social Buzz. Stay with us.
Imagine having the power of television, movies, news, and entertainment right in your pocket. Welcome to Free TV App, Nigeria's all-in-one digital TV experience. With Free TV App, you get access to over 100 live TV channels, breaking news, sports, movies, kids shows, and more, all from a single mobile app. No decoder stress, no complicated setup, just download, open, and start watching. Free TV is television reimagined for the digital age. To get started, simply search Free TV on the Google Play Store or Free TV NG on the Apple App Store, or scan the QR code on your screen. Once installed, register in seconds using your phone number, email, WhatsApp, Google ID, or Apple ID. Secure OTP verification ensures safe and seamless access. Inside the app, explore content directly from the home screen or navigate easily using the various tabs. The Live TV section gives you access to over 100 licensed channels, complete with an electronic program guide, EPG, pause, rewind, and catch-up features. The Video On Demand library offers up to 500 hours of curated content, including Nollywood movies, drama series, documentaries, kids and educational programs. You can resume playback, save favorites, and download content to watch offline. The News tab delivers real-time updates across breaking news, sports, entertainment, technology, and pop culture, all in one place. Free TV is more than an app. It's a digital revolution in broadcasting. Download the Free TV app today.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately, sports, news, and entertainment in your native language, all with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the Free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on global television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And viewers around the news all was on Global Morning. We're sorry for that technical glitch that happened earlier. A Nigerian soldier attached to the Nigerian Army Aviation Hangar in Mina, Niger State, has reportedly been arrested for military offense life sentence, where he begged a popular content creator, King Pedro, for money. Sahara reporters reported that the attached to the Army Aviation Hangar in Mina. According to the report, a top military source familiar with the incident said that the soldier arrest followed a viral exchange with King Pedro, who publicly berated him for soliciting money while wearing his military uniform. What happened is that the particular soldier begged King Pedro for money online Saturday. Instead of helping him, the civilian insulted him, the source said. The source added that the TikTok influencer had similarly insulted another young soldier in a separate live session. If you check the video on King Pedro's timeline, you will see another young soldier that one told him he had spent just 1 year in the army, and King Pedro also insulted him badly. I don't know whether they have arrested that other one, but this one is a senior soldier. Only God knows his fate now, the source added. In the viral live session, King Pedro condemned the soldier for begging while wearing a military uniform. Let's take a look at that video.
Yes, I'm not eating that.
What are you? Are you a soldier?
Yes, sir.
Where are you serving?
Niger State.
Niger State. How long have you been in service?
5 years.
You have been in 5 years, and you don't get sense. No say you no supposed to wear army uniform. Come on live stream. They ask person for money. Una no get sense. Some of una, they supposed cut commercial. You go inside they open it with you now until you go see me yourself until you go see yourself on social media. Now that time your ear you go clear until they come out that uniform for your body. Now that time your eye go clear. Una go wear army uniform. You go inside they joke with you. No worry. Una go wear army uniform. You go they come on live stream. the third person say you have not eaten. I don't even get respect for that army uniform where you wear. You don't have respect for that uniform where you wear. You go come on live stream. The third person say you never chop. You don't have shame. You don't people cannot, even if you don't have shame, you cannot respect the uniform you are putting on. The uniform you are putting on. Some of you they're supposed to lock you in that room. After locking you in that room for so long, they will become you become marshal. Your eye go clear. When I go wear a Nigeria army uniform, go come on live stream, they beg money. Other countries, what would they say about it when they see a soldier of Nigeria, soldier, they come on live stream, they beg money. What do you think they go talk? If they come here, they open teeth. I wish I know your commander. You'll be court martial. You'll be so court martial because this is you don't represent a soldier. This is not the attitude of a soldier. You don't represent. You are not supposed to be a soldier. What kind of rubbish is that? You people should stop this nonsense. You come on live stream, put it on military uniform, they beg for money. How dare you? What kind of rubbish is that? You people should have orientation, though. Nonsense. What kind of rubbish? Yeah, you don't even hear the open teeth. You know who they open teeth. You think it's funny? You think it's funny? Say you go wear Nigerian military uniform, come on live stream and be telling person you have not eaten. How kind of rubbish is that? What kind of rubbish is that? Is that the orientation they give you in the army? Is that the training they give you in the army? To go on live stream and be begging for money with a Nigerian. If you want to beg for money, you can go on Mufti. Wear civilian uniform. Don't wear soldier uniform to go on live stream to beg for money. Don't try that kind of nonsense next time. Get out from here, my friend. Get out from here.
All right, so that was King Pedro, and that was a military officer, a soldier for that matter. There are so many things wrong and so many things right in this video. But then again, let's take a look at some comments before we discuss about this. And the first comment we're taking here is from Olujunomo. Olujunomo says, sympathy aside, a military uniform represents discipline, honor, and respect. If you are privileged to wear the uniform of the Nigerian Armed Forces, you should protect its dignity. There's nothing wrong with needing help, but this wasn't the right way to seek financial help. All right, thank you so much. The next comment is coming from Ekene Udemadu. Ekene said, easy bro, what they are paying them is not sufficient. All right, so a lot of us know that when it comes to military welfare, some of the junior officers, some of them have come out to complain about their welfare, what they pay them and all of that. But then again, I really did not like the fact that King Pedro kept on insulting the military officer. The only thing he did was to ask for maybe a token or something, and you could just actually be respectful. Talk to him respectfully. If you want to let him know something, you tell him, okay, I understand you're asking for money, but maybe we wouldn't do it here. We can do it in my DM. We can talk one-on-one. And when you go to his DM, you explain the reason why you do not want to give him money instead of insulting a military officer. Like some of us are just uncultured. Pedro was uncultured, and all of that insult was so uncalled for. Well, I'm not alone this morning in the studio. I have with me Ramsey Agbo. Good morning, Ramsey.
Yes, good morning. Ogochukwu.
It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, I guess. All right, so we're talking about a military officer and a soldier, I beg your pardon, and also a TikToker, an influencer right there, who, what happened was that this TikToker, who is an influencer, was live on TikTok. And normally, whenever you're live on TikTok, anyone can join your live. You can also pair with someone on TikTok, and the both of you go live at the same time. And which this Pedro did with the TikToker, with the military officer. And the next thing was the military officer. We're having a conversation, and the next thing was, normal thing now. Okay, find out something, because normally he does give away sometimes. I mean, Pedro does give away sometimes. If you have, been opportune to actually join his live session or come across it, he does that sometimes. And the military officer, jokingly, and you could see that he had a smile on his face. He was kind of free. Do something for your boys. Do something. You understand what I'm talking about. And the next thing is Pedro, going all out on him, insulting him, and telling him that he's a very stupid person. You've been in service for over 5 years. You where's your station? He said in Niger State. So you serve in Niger State and you don't know, you are not wise enough to know that you are not supposed to wear a uniform on live TikTok to beg for money. So I feel like, okay, you are trying to educate this person at this point, but then again, you are doing it wrongly. That's what I see here. There's nothing wrong in asking for something from someone, but then again, if you want to correct the person, if you don't want to help the person, there's no point insulting the person. I think Pedro was really wrong. What do you think, Ramsey?
Yes, I think one thing stood out for me, and that is how calm the soldier was, and just smiling. I was saying in social media, I just came around to have fun, maybe to just wipe my brain of some things, you know, experience, and of course, I don't know Pedro, I don't know who really took it out. The soldier was calm, and that's a good one.
He handled it properly.
If I were anybody involved, I think there is a
well, they will also question him, because what is wrong is wrong, what is right is right. Yes, the mistake, yes, appearing on uniform and also begging, you know, that's a mistake. If he was on Mufti, and yes, so I think the only reason why he should be arrested was just to correct him about the uniform thing. But I don't see any reason why he should be arrested for begging on social media. There's nothing there. Like, you can meet anyone and talk to anyone there. But Pedro posting it afterwards is really, really wrong. He's just trying to bring down that military officer. And again, they said this is not the first time he's doing it. This is like the second time, I guess. That's the second time they have caught him doing it. The first person was a junior officer, but this is more of a senior officer, and it's very, very wrong. If he's doing that just to bring down officers, then I think his time is up right now. They have to arrest him or jail him or do something so he just learns his lesson. There's nothing wrong. For one, I didn't see anything wrong there. So please, let's learn. If we're influencers, learn to influence very well. That's influencing is bad. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ramsey, for your contribution. I like how you pointed out that the military man was very calm. He handled the situation very well. Thank you for your contribution to today's topic. And yes, this is where we close the curtains for Social Buzz on Global Morning. And I'm going to be leaving you in the hands of Priscilla and Ramsey as they usher us into the discussion section of Global Morning. So stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. I am August Kumop. Now, once again, good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on the issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Everyone, now it's time for us to get into the first conversation for the day as we look at anti-corruption in Nigeria. And of course, it's necessary for us to see anti-corruption, how strengthening transparency, accountability, and efficient service delivery, all right, would help fight corruption, all right, whether it's going to maybe. Someone said can't be eradicated completely, but then there are things that could be done. And today we have the lead director for the Center for Social Justice join us on the program in the person of Eze Onyekpere. It's good to have you join us this morning. All right, thank you very much. Well, let's get into talking about corruption in Nigeria. You know, some people have said, well, corruption has to do with every sector, every Nigerian, irrespective of who you are and all of that. And some persons, as a matter of fact, have given up as it has to do with eradication. So people are not even fighting, talking about it, how to get rid of it anymore. What is your perspective?
Well, let's start by saying that corrupt acts, actions, and omissions have been severally defined in law and policy. And there are institutions and agencies set up to fight corruption, from the Constitutional Nigerian Police to the EFCC, ICPC, Auditor General, Bureau of Public Procurement, and quite a number of them. And the mandates differ from preventive down to detection and prosecution, and of course deterrence. So I do not think that just such a sweeping generalization should hold true that corruption has eaten deep into all facets of Nigerian life. May not necessarily be true. The challenge of endemic corruption we have is because the leadership has failed, refused, and neglected to lead by example and to fight corruption to a standstill. Because once you have a leadership that everybody knows will not steal and will take steps to prevent those who want to steal from stealing, and those who manage to, still go ahead to steal after all those preventive steps are named and shamed and punished in accordance with the law, then we may not be discussing corruption the way it is today. The only thing that happens is that when leadership itself is corrupt and devoid of ethics and social morality, then anything goes. So that's the critical challenge we have today. So Nigerians are not corrupt as it is said, but it's the leadership that is grossly corrupt, and then people are simply trying to find a way to survive, not necessarily that they're corrupt.
Once again, sir, for being here with us. When you say Nigerians are not corrupt, they are simply trying to survive, where do we draw the line between corruption and trying to survive?
Why you will know that Nigerians are not corrupt is that these same Nigerians travel out of the country and are relatively well behaved. They easily adjust to the life in those societies where they go. It's not about drawing a line. When you pay somebody a starvation wage, somebody is paid 70,000 naira or 100,000. When we know that that can hardly pay for a full tank of a medium-sized car, and you have a family of 3 or 4, and with the wife everything is 6, and the person goes on with 100 and 150,000 a month, you are definitely setting the line for the person to look for other ways to survive. But that's not even the corruption we are discussing about, because we'll be pedestrianizing corruption to be discussing means of survival instead of discussing grand larceny, grand corruption, the kind of corrupt mind that manifests in things like election rigging, stealing money in billions, contract padding, and authority stealing, as you have it in places like the National Assembly, where people claim a right under constituency funds to bring out money and mismanage it and literally steal it, and nothing is happening to them. And everybody knows, and they open their eyes. That's authority and legal stealing. What they're doing is stealing. Whether you say it's done under a law or whatever, it's authority stealing. So that's where I draw the line. I'm discussing grand larceny and corruption that cries to the high heavens.
Corruption from leadership. I think it's something we have, almost every single Nigerian, a baby will tell you that, they are aware of the corruption of our leaders. But the problem is how we forge ahead, how we go ahead, because it looks like it keeps recycling. How do we even bring an end to it? If we keep recycling our leaders, at what point, whose hands, whose responsibility is it at this point to end corruption? What is the feasible way to say we can even have a headway to end corruption? This is something that we should already, accept, basically because we don't have leaders and we don't have a hope of getting good leaders. Or is there anything that the citizens can do about it, just
there is so much we can do. Corruption starts from the ballot, the day you cast your vote. You recall that recently, you may think it is odd that the Catholic bishops of Nigeria met the president and they were discussing about free and fair elections. And what was the response of the president? He says, all is fair in power is the struggle for power. All is fair is in politics. That's the kind of mindset that undermines the democratic system, which is the corruption at the highest level. If you steal power, then what is money and resources that you cannot steal? If you believe that all is fair in politics, you can rig, you can kill, you can corrupt the judiciary. If that's the mindset for power, then I am surely telling you that Nigerians can only fight corruption when they start voting and refusing to cast their ballot and resisting anybody who wants to water down the morality of society. Society is not built on immoral human beings, unethical human beings who simply want to claim a loophole through legality. Where did you go to your primary school? 0. Where is your secondary school certificate? 0. And then you end up producing a university degree. But under Nigerian law, you must have 5 credits to be qualified through JAMB to enter a public or a private university. And if you don't have it at the time of your entry, your degree can be voided even if you made a first class. So anybody who comes with that kind of storyline, telling us about universities he had at secondary schools he had attended, he graduated before the school started, it became a huge problem. And when eventually that was sorted out, or maybe it was glossed over, you are not bringing it back again, you're going back and forth. We need somebody with strong moral and ethical values. Once you destroy the values of a society, it's not about legality, what the courts say. The society is going to be corrupt from the head to the toe. So I believe corruption starts from the ballot box. If you want to attack corruption, free, credible, and fair election is the beginning before we go into the laws of procurement, ICPC, EFCC, anti-corruption and system studies. We can go into that later, but this is the beginning.
Thank you very much. Do you think transparency, all right, if there is transparency, if transparency is being strengthened, corruption may reduce in the system from the civil service to those in governance, like you said, and all of that? How do you think that could be a tool, that is strengthening transparency, can be a tool to curb corruption in Nigeria?
Transparency shines light on the dark spots. And that's why a lot of sunshine laws have been made as anti-corruption strategies. You look at the Freedom of Information Act, which gives every Nigerian the right to access public documents that are not classified or public documents relating to military intelligence. That's a legislation for transparency. If you look at the Fiscal Responsibility Act, which also says that Nigerians should have access to all fiscal information at all times and its implications for the finances, a government obligation, that's also about transparency. You look at the Public Procurement Act, which seeks to liberalize the procurement system, introducing transparency and accountability, that's also about transparency. The law setting up the NAITI, to bring transparency into the oil and gas sector, the resources, all the extractives, is about transparency. So we are not short of laws on transparency. And transparency is the bedrock of accountability. And the combination of transparency and accountability are great tools. These are great tools to fight corruption. So, but the problem is that we are not implementing those laws. For instance, look at the Fiscal Responsibility Act. It expects that budgets and budget implementation reports should be in the open. Since April 17th, when the president signed the 2026 federal budget, go to their website, the budget is not there. They just made copies and shared to MDA. So they want to keep Nigerians out of knowing what is even in the budget. Of course, they are not implementing and they are not reporting. The last budget implementation report there, you see there, none for this year. We've ended the second quarter. So in essence, what I'm saying is that transparency and accountability are great bulwarks in the fight against corruption.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. There was an event that was put up recently where we had journalists, we have a lot of anti-graft agencies, and you were so instrumental in that event. Now, let's look at the issue of transparency now. Apart from transparency, we will also look at other issues that has to do with corruption. What do you think of the anti-graft agencies, all right, those that have been put in place to fight corruption, like you named them from the beginning? What's your assessment of their activities?
Well, they are doing so much, but there is still a lot to be done. Assessing them by saying, oh, they are very good or they're bad, is not the answer. I look at it from the perspective of, since they were set up, what have they been able to do in terms of the corruption they prevented or they've discovered and made sure monies are recovered or people are punished? And then also the quantum of corruption that is still ongoing. So one thing you must understand is that the police, the anti-corruption agencies will be as effective as the leadership of the country wants them to be. If Mr. President and the National Assembly and the leadership of the judiciary and the Supreme Court imbibe and mainstream transparency in all their actions, it sends a clear message in the whole of the executive, the ministers, to the governors, that Mr. President is not chopping and is not ready to allow anybody to chop. So everybody, adjust to that message. It is also done to the National Assembly. In the National Assembly, it's a straightforward message to all the legislators. If it's also done at the Supreme Court of Nigeria, that corruption will not be tolerated in any guise or any manner or under any, disguise. It also sends a clear message to all the members of the bench beneath the Supreme Court. So their success or failure, for me, is hinged on the actions, inactions, and body language and direct instructions and messaging of the persons in power. For instance, look at the Gbajabiamila case. Nigerians are forgetting it. We are busy prosecuting Adeyemi, somebody specifically of all the officers in Nigeria, he named one person. Okay, the anti-corruption drive means that he should have resigned for a proper investigation, for the anti-corruption agencies to drag him in, detain him for a few days and query him. Because you can't say, oh, you want to interrogate the person who is fixing Mr. President's appointments, who is almost in charge of his itinerary. You invite him to come by Terry, and then he tells you that Mr. President requires him at that time. What do you do? Even if he refused to leave on his own, resign on his own, then Mr. President should have told him, say, no, you can't continue. We may bring you back if we find out the accusation was false. Move, and let's have a clean slate. So, but all you see is that people are being shielded from the administration of justice. Okay, you saw a minister, serving minister, having a young woman die in his premises in circumstances that nobody can even explain. It's only him who was explaining the young woman's last minutes, meaning that he's privy to a lot. Has he been asked to resign? Is anybody prosecuting him? Is he really being investigated? So I'm just giving you the general picture. It is the leadership that determines the effectiveness of the anti-corruption agency. So I'm not here to begin to say ABCD about them, but they are operating based on the mandate or authority of the person who appointed them.
Brought that up. It's part of one of the cases, that is still very much fresh and still unfolding in Nigeria. You've also mentioned Femi Baja, as someone that should be questioned at this moment. But if we are going to address Femi Gbajabiamila, are we not also going to address the heads of the different agencies that give a pass, that give a go-ahead for budget? Because we're talking about finance. We're talking about, a bill that even the House of Representatives, give a go-ahead to. It's not cutting across different parastatals of Nigeria. And then how can citizens of Nigeria be vigilant to, ask the right questions before endorsing, corruption that they don't know? Because there are situations where somebody, maybe work in a government parastatal, someone gives you, documents to sign, and you just have an oversight and just go ahead to do these things without even knowing. What are those precautionary measures that, every Nigerian must take to ensure that they don't fall victim unknowingly to these processes?
There are enough checks and balances and measures that could be adopted to detect a kind of crime that was alleged to have been committed by Adeyemi and the Femi Gbajabiamila. Now, let's put it this way. What we witness in that case is organized syndicated crime across the executive and legislature. One, the budget call circular is not sent to an individual like me or you. All right? It's sent to a government agency. They fill up the budget templates, allocate the money in accordance with what they consider to be priorities in their ministerial agency. And when they finish, they go back to the budget office of the Federation for what is called bilateral sessions or budget defense. For the budget office to look at what they have allocated, the proposed allocation, vis-a-vis the directions and directives of the Federal Executive Council and Mr. President contained in the call circular. When they are sure that those directives have been followed, they approve it at that level before forwarding it to Mr. President and the Federal Executive Council for approval. Now, who got the call circular in the presidency and filled up the names of agencies and did not remember that that so-called agency is not in existence? It wasn't Adeyemi. He didn't get the call circular. So it's somebody deep in the presidency. The Federal Executive Council approved and they sent it to National Assembly. In the National Assembly, there are committees after the general debates. The budget is sent to agency by agency, ministry by ministry, to the committees of the National Assembly, in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, that exercises oversight over them, the oversight committee. And the oversight committee of the presidency or whoever should be able to know all the agencies there. And they don't stop at that. When they review it on their own, they invite the agency or the ministry that has the budget to say, come and defend. So in between that ministry that is coming to defend and the National Assembly committees, they still did not see that this is a miracle, that there's no such agency. They approved and then took back to Mr. President, who has to consult the budget office again, Minister of Finance, Minister of Budget and Planning, budget office, and all of them had no evil and saw no evil, advised him to approve, and he assented. Now, that kind of, if it is not a criminal conspiracy involving of the actors, that kind, if it's ordinary negligence, is gross negligence of such a type that should not allow any of the actors to continue sitting. The negligence is so gross and perverse that if you say you overlooked it, then there's no reason for you to continue being in the office. And when you talk about going through the accountant general to open an account at the CBN, is it that the accountant general and CBN don't have a list of the agencies that are entitled to have an account opened? Or when you went to the head of service or secretary to government of federation to say, give me an office, is it that the head of service and government don't have a list of agencies knowing who should get an office and who doesn't get an office? Or when you say, post staff to me, post staff to my agency, they don't have a list of people eligible. So Ezonyebera Center for Social Justice can now write to head of service to say, post, not even youth corpus, to say post federal government staff of the rank of director. I need about 4 or 5 of them to work for me. And you post them, and at the end of the month, you are paying them while they work for me. So what I'm saying is conspiracy at the highest level. In law, we'll say Rep. Cesar Lupito. The evidence is so overwhelming that it couldn't have been done by an outsider, if not an insider. So I don't know all the stories that are in. That's why I'm saying corruption is from the top. And until you fight it from the top, there's nothing you can do.
top, and if not until you fight it from the top, there is nothing you can do. Let me ask this question now on behalf of all Nigerians watching right now, especially the voiceless Nigerians. You are the lead director, Center for Social Justice. Now, let me ask this question. There are some people in some offices who don't really want corruption, who want to be transparent, who want to be accountable. But then they keep having issues with people who are deep down in corruption. Take, for instance, you work with a boss, and the boss wants to have you sign some documents all the time, and you know that is corruption to divert certain funds, all right, exonerating him or herself. Then you refuse. And somehow, because the person is a superior officer, you tend to be punished indirectly by actions, maybe not allowing you to do what you're supposed to do, not delegating duties to you. In that situation, what do you think these innocent Nigerians who are in this kind of situation, what would they do? Because that's their own way of trying to get rid of corruption from the system.
The public service rules are clear. If you have a boss, he is not God, and he insists that you do the wrong thing, you have a duty under the law. If he gives you that kind of instruction verbally, you insist that he puts his instruction in writing. When he puts that instruction in writing, you now advise him and respond appropriately, saying, these actions or these directives of yours, if I were to implement it, it will be contrary to provisions of ABCD law or public service rules or financial instructions. You state it. Knowing that there is a challenge ahead, when you write it, you send to him and copy the head of the civil service of the federation so that you will be able to exonerate yourself, because you cannot plead in a law court that you obeying lawful instructions as a justification for committing a crime. Even in those days, coups were very, very common in Nigeria under military rule. There was a joke of a military tribunal where a junior officer said, make I shoot, or I shot. That's not a justification. You still go in. So when you do that, and the superior now insists again in writing, you must insist that this is in writing. Because if it's not in writing, it will be them say, I said, he said. He can deny. So by the time that instruction comes first, and you write back to say this is illegal, I don't think it is proper, send to him and copy head of service, he calls back forcefully and puts it in writing. You have discharged your responsibility. Go ahead and obey lawful orders so that they don't do anything to you, unlawful orders. But then, you know what will happen? If the authorities come later from EFCC, ICPC, the police, by the time you bring this and the head of service corroborates, then nobody will hold you responsible. But it's also expected that the head of service, being somebody who knows the rules and the laws, should also be able to advise whoever is instructing you to do that thing, to say, gentleman or woman, please, I don't think this is right, come back. But if he sits, good luck. And also there's a provision for whistleblowing. If it's about stealing money, you could whistleblow at the EFCC or ICPC or the police, and the world will not fall down. So somebody can survive in a corrupt environment, even though he's not corrupt. He may suffer some challenges. There are some challenges and roadblocks that may be put on his way, but that's the price you have to pay to be an honest man and to survive. That's your race to heaven.
It sounds like a race indeed. But while we were speaking earlier, you mentioned that the polls, the ballot box is that place to, end corruption. And then my mind goes back to even the Catholic bishops you mentioned in passing in our conversation, and how they have, pleaded to our dear president to ensure that there's free and fair election. Ultimately, it still doesn't lie totally in the hands of every Nigerian. It still goes back to INEC and the credibility process, and whatever preparations they have, their transparency to ensure that there's free and fair election. So that means that it's the ordinary Nigerian might, want to make things right, because you have said a Nigerian man is not corrupt. It is just situations and circumstances. But that would also mean that Nigerians would be determined that whether or not their pockets are filled, whether or not their bellies are filled, if we want to get it right, we have to stand by, we have to stand tall. We have to be grounded to ensure that elections indeed is free and fair. We have to play our own part. But even if we finish playing our own part, what is the guarantee that the system itself that is corrupt, which you have also said, will not counter whatever efforts that the ordinary Nigerian man is putting in?
Every man or woman has got a right to decide his own destiny, and in his judgment, there's no partiality. I mean, that's a song, one of those lyrics Bob Marley sang, and we were called upon to get up and stand up for our rights. You see, when you have an administration that has this mindset of snatch it and run with it, okay, or say everything is free and fair, preambular paragraph 3 and 4 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights creates a right to resist tyranny. Whereas if man or woman is not to be compelled to rebellion, okay, as a last resort, that human rights and fundamental freedoms are protected by law. In your polling station, everybody there, upright men and women, should make it clear to the polling officer there that he cannot rig, and that he rigs at the risk of his own life. Because if you allow imposters to come in, it's a life and death situation. If he wants to die, if he wants not to be alive, let him try to announce a result beyond what is destined. He could be beaten up thoroughly. It should be made clear. At the collation unit, I expect the opposition parties to organize men and women, particularly young men whose futures are about to be perilled, to tell the gentlemen there, we have the results as you have. If you announce anything beyond this, it's not going to be funny. We will resist you physically. And then they should keep tracking it onto the national level. And wherever they're going to hide to announce presidential elections, I expect millions of Nigerians to come out. Because you are no longer dealing with normal human beings. They're telling you to your face that are going to rig, and there's nothing you will do about it. So the best thing is resistance. There is a right to resist tyranny. There is a right to draw the lines. There's a right to resist the devil. There's a right to resist the devil. You got to resist him. And that's why I talked about the race to heaven. The race to heaven is that you must protect your rights. And there's no right greater than the right to choose leadership. That's the foundation of all rights, and the right to life. Because if you are not allowed to choose your leader, then you've lost it. So people must be ready to organize to defend the vote. And there must be a high price for rigging the polls. If as a professor or political science, history, law, that appoint you a returning officer at the divisional level or state level or senatorial level, and you want to take instruction from riffraffs who want power at all costs, you pay the price. You pay the price. It's going to be a bit physical, and also come back to the school and tell you can't continue there. So that if people will learn from you, there's no more pretending. The gloves are out. So I expect organization at the highest level. Let's see how one person can, how a group of very few Nigerians, numbering less than 50,000, let's see how they can beat 230 million Nigerians who are hungry and angry. Let's see how they will do it. So people need to resist. There's a right to resist tyranny.
Finally, before we let you go, I think I would need to ask this question, beginning from the poll now. A lot of people, when appointed into office, some persons may appear like angels, all right, at the poll. During elections, campaign is starting this month. You hear a lot of things. Some people will say, okay, let's test this person. He's not been there before. But as soon as they get into office, they become something else. And Nigerians, the average Nigerians are left helpless. They change. You see people getting into corruption, joining cabals and all of that. Is there anything that can be done at that level?
Yes. the Constitution provides for checks and balances. If you recall, during the early days of this Fourth Republic, during Obasanjo's days, the House of Representatives at some point, even though it was more of people of the same party, PDP, when they had hot disagreements with Obasanjo, they threatened to impeach him. In the United States, several presidents have been impeached. So you get in as a president and we vote for you and you start doing things that are not right. That's why we have the legislature to call you to order. But the legislature cannot call you to order when you have the kind of rubber stamp, kind of Senate president. That's why the legislature should be independent. And that's why if there's a crisis between the legislature and the executive, you need an independent judiciary who will look at it and then be able to pronounce the law as it is and say this is good or this is bad, this is illegal or this is illegal. So what I'm saying in essence is that the Constitution anticipates checks and balances, but people start from the beginning to corrupt those checks and balances. Whenever you see an elected president sworn in, insists he has to determine who becomes the Speaker of the House of Reps or who becomes the Senate President. That is the beginning of, massive corruption, bringing people who can no longer challenge him or do their jobs. But we watch it and say, oh, it is normal. That's how it should be. You recall when Saraki took the Senate presidency away from the APC mainstream, he was able to hold Buhari to account for the first 4 years. But the second 4 years proved the legislature to be a disaster. If you look back historically now, it appears the Saraki Senate presidency was one of the high points when we had a responsible legislature, because he was not picked or handpicked by the executive. So owing his loyalty to the executive instead of his fellow legislators, that's the kind of thing that needs to be done going forward. An independent legislature, a good executive, and an independent judiciary. We are ready to go in that fight against corruption.
Thank you very much, Eze Onyekpere, who is the lead director, Center for Social Justice. Thank you very much for being part of the program this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. We hope to have you live in the studio very soon because a lot to talk about. All right. Thanks so much for joining us on the program. Now, we will take a quick break as we step into the second discussion. There is no one now that will say anything without making reference to the bishops that visited President Tinubu and the outcome. The matters arising are so much, and we will need to look at it on the program this morning, touching the areas that the Catholic bishops are coming from. And that conversation will be coming up with our guest after this break. Stay with us.
Imagine having the power of television, movies, news, and entertainment right in your pocket. Welcome to Free TV App, Nigeria's all-in-one digital TV experience. With Free TV App, you get access to over 100 live TV channels, breaking news, sports, movies, kids shows, and more. All from a single mobile app. No decoder stress, no complicated setup, just download, open, and start watching. Free TV is television reimagined for the digital age. To get started, simply search Free TV on the Google Play Store or Free TV NG on the Apple App Store, or scan the QR code on your screen. Once installed, register in seconds using your phone number, email, WhatsApp, Google ID or Apple ID. Secure OTP verification ensures safe and seamless access. Inside the app, explore content directly from the home screen or navigate easily using the various tabs. The Live TV section gives you access to over 100 licensed channels, complete with an electronic program guide, EPG, pause, rewind, and catch-up features. The Video On Demand library offers up to 500 hours of curated content, including Nollywood movies, drama series, documentaries, kids and educational programs. You can resume playback, save favorites, and download content to watch offline. The News tab delivers real-time updates across breaking news, sports, entertainment, technology, and pop culture, all in one place. Free TV is more than an app. It's a digital revolution in broadcasting. Download the Free TV app today.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language. All with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the Free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
For our discussion today, as we look at, of course, President Tinubu and the Catholic bishops. Yes, we need to see the poverty debate and the battle for public confidence. 2027 is around the corner, so this should not be taken lightly at all. Joining us on the conversation is a very vast personality and expert in the person of Stephen Ajia, who is an APC chieftain working tirelessly with this administration for the achievement of the Renewed Hope agenda. And he's also, as a matter of fact, an economist. It's good to have you join us on the program, Ajia.
Thank you very much for having me once again.
It's good to have you, sir, again, once again, indeed. Okay, let me start. I like the fact that we are doing this with an economist. So it means that we're going to be speaking facts and nothing but facts. So we saw the clip over the weekend. As a matter of fact, the likes of Atiku, the likes of Peter Obi, have been commenting on that very clip. And the president, in order to calm the bishops that went to visit him, after they made their complaints about the hardship in the land and called for, a free and fair election come 2027, the president made a profound statement and he said, poverty did not start today. As a matter of fact, he also inherited poverty. So let's talk about poverty in Nigeria. I want to believe that poverty means a lot to different personalities, but as you said before we came on the show, there's a threshold. So where do you think Nigeria is, with its poverty statistic?
Okay, thank you. And to start, we'll talk about what poverty really means. Is a state where people lack basic needs, that they cannot meet their basic needs, which is shelter, food, and maybe health issues. And this country, we have a lot of people that cannot meet the basic needs that can make them feel they are actually citizens of this country. But I would want to explain something for you. Where the president got the statement where he said poor people will always be, poverty will always be around. This was actually from the Bible, Matthew chapter 26, verse 11, where Jesus himself said that the poor people will always be with you. It means that no matter what you do, poor people will always be poor. And
we always have them.
We always have them.
We always have them.
You always have them around. There's nothing you can do about it. There are people who don't.
They will not always be poor. The status can change, but you can still have other people that are poor.
No, the people.
The poor people will always be poor.
They will always be poor. There are people. Poverty is a state of mind.
Okay.
It's also a state of mind.
Okay.
Because there are people who believe that they can only beg. So how do you treat people whose ideology or what their perception
Meaning beggars
of life,
will always be poor.
They will always be there. They have the resources, but the kind of life they are living, they are still poor. Okay. They cannot even carry money to even eat or for themselves or even wear good clothes. So they will always be poor. So that said, we have seen the backlash where every politician is coming out now to attack the presidency, the president that he didn't take it lightly with them instead of him to actually agree with them. The president is talking from statistic point of view. Okay. He knows that the macroeconomic policy which he has put in place obviously is doing something for Nigeria. Okay. And because at least now our forex, the exchange rate is hovering, is being stabilized now. Then we also have other macroeconomic policies which the president has put in place, like remove the subsidy, which obviously has stopped the volatility that we used to experience. Fuel, you had to queue 24 days before you can get fuel. So if you don't have the money to buy fuel, you stay in your house. So these are some of the things that the president might be looking at. And anytime macroeconomic policies are being put in place, issues come up. Sometimes people are not able to do what they used to do before. take for instance, if the dollar was like 700 naira to $1, and all of a sudden it's 1,000, 2,000, people can no longer buy luxurious goods they are used to. Maybe most of the goods come from US or abroad, so they can no longer buy them. They are made to use the one that are made in Nigeria. You see, these are some of the policies. It encourages you to use your own. But people who are already used to, these are some of the benefits. But where do people now become people?
Of the devaluation of Naira?
Yeah, yes.
So what happens to Naira that is being used by Nigerians to even get the Nigerian-made products?
Yeah, the issue is that what has happened is that inflation has crept in. Take for instance, if you remember like maybe 3 or 4 years ago when you were working here, probably your salary was 70,000. And now your salary is 300,000. But because of the policy that the government put in place, fuel removing subsidy and stuff like that, things begin to skyrocket. You will begin to buy less, even when you have more money. So this is what is happening. People have money in their pockets, but they cannot buy
the available
items in the market because of the inflation. So once you put in macroeconomic policies in place, the next thing you should do is to go to the micro level, which I think that's what government is trying to do. It's by trying to reduce inflation. And don't forget that there's too much money during the last government of Buhari, they printed a lot of money. You don't just print money just for the sake of printing money. It has to be backed by resources available in your country. So we had that problem, and now this government is inheriting that. So there's nothing they can do precisely, immediately, except at a long run. So this thing we are talking about might not even, the benefit might not come during this regime. The 8 years regime of Tinubu, it might come maybe at the later regime that might come. So these are the problem of money. These are the problem of macroeconomic policy. And again, you are mentioning Obi and you see they are the opposition. Opposition must always have something to say. That is their work. So they said that obviously that is the sentiment that everybody wants to express. So they just fly into it without. There are other things that the government has done. We've not had anything from them. But because campaign is coming and they are vying for president, all of them are now everywhere shouting, this is what the government, why would government. There's poverty. There's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Poverty will always be there. But the issue now is that how many people can you uplift out of the state of poverty?
Okay, so I understand poverty being a state of the mind, but I think at this point we should be talking about the lack of basic amenities that is accessible to the common man. Yes, you can have the good roads, you can have the working hospitals, and people will still be poor in mind. But let us start with why the government has not even provided these basic amenities. There are poor people everywhere. There are poor people in the UK. There are poor people in the US. But these people have access to basic amenities. The other thing we saw a Nigerian woman come on social media to talk about the food bank in Canada, how she had gone to purchase, she was gifted items in the food bank. And to her, it was a very big testimony. But people in the comment section said, this thing is normal here. But for her, Nigerians in the comment section were amazed, and all of that. People in Canada, don't cast this thing. They're making it as a very big deal. Of course, it is. So these things are available to people in developed countries, right? Basically because they can't afford it. It doesn't lift them out of poverty per se, but it cushions the effect. When are we going to have this replication? All of this kind of initiatives in Nigeria. I think that's the problem.
Well, I don't know where you think this government not doing well. There are amenities going on there. You see, the damage that has taken place in this country is so much. So we have a government that is trying to bring things up so that we can benefit. There are places, again, let me not say everything is okay. Because obviously everything is not okay.
I like that.
Yes. Infrastructure-wise, maybe we'll talk about the present government. We'll talk about, like last time I came here, I talked about what the Minister of FCT is doing and that of Omahi, what they're also doing. They're also trying to put up infrastructure. But even in that state, I will tell you that facilities and amenities management is very bad in this country. You might just put things there. Somebody will just vandalize them. Now, during COVID, the government brought in a lot of things that could cushion the effect of what was happening then. What did they do? They went and vandalized everything.
Palliative.
Everybody vandalized it. So these things are there. You might want to put it in place.
That's because Nigerians bumped it too.
That's a problem.
It had been there for a while.
Why was it bumped into? Are you aware that some of those palliatives that were brought out were already spoiled? For how long do you think it has been there?
This is another problem of management. Okay. Because people you give, it's sometimes a problem of, the president cannot go around with cane trying to tell people to share all those things when they are supposed to do that. People are not even willing to do what they are supposed to do. The president, for him, he has put up policies that should make Nigerians to do something for themselves. Take for instance, when to tell you that some of us are not well informed. The Catholic bishop went and were asking the president to bring back schools back to the Catholic Church, to who the original owners. The president asked them a simple question. It is not his duty. It is the state government. So why are you taking you don't even know where to take your problem to. Now, because of the camera's sake, because the bishop knows that the camera will be focused on him, he now just pick up that issue, and now he has become popular with the issue that they went and discussed discreetly with the president. You understand? So people pick up issues like this so that
you think that
some of them, they have their persuasions, which is not in line with that of the present government. So when they come to talk to you that way, it's just because they want it to be in cameras where they can criticize government. So this is the problem we're having in this country. People are doing something.
But the government is meant to be
just a minute. Just a minute, Ajia. Just a minute. Talk to us like a Nigerian now, not like a politician. We need to face. We need to face the fact. You're talking as an APC chieftain, as if you're not aware of what is happening in Nigeria. When you say poverty will always be there. All right. When you say poverty will always be there, people will always be poor. You know, poverty is relative.
Yeah.
I told you. There are billionaires that call other billionaires poor men because they have more than they do have.
Yes.
All right. But those people don't have problem of food. They don't have problem of shelter. They don't have problem of cars. But some people still refer to them as being poor because they felt they have more resources than they have. Let's come back to Nigeria, for instance. A lot of money have been stashed, some recovered, all right, by the anti-graft agencies. That is to prove that of a truth, people are cutting away with our resources, and majority of them are politicians. It is evident, it's in the public space. Now, saying poverty would always be there, can't it be minimized for the fact that we have a lot of natural resources, and if we could do away with greed and do the right things as politicians?
Well, you are going back to, I don't know how you want me to answer this question without you saying I'm a politician. Because let me give you something. I wish I can sketch something for you. Supposing we are 10 in this country, total number, and 3 people are rich. The other 10, the other 7 are poor. And in the process, you bring their welfare. What happens? The other people will get married. Some of them will start taking four wives, looking for wives from other people to come and add there. They begin to, the population, you see, the population in this country is not, nobody even know where they are. There's a problem with a poor man. Once you give him money and his life begin to improve, the first thing he's going to do is to increase his population.
Not all men.
No, let me tell you something.
Not all men. There are people that will never get married to more than one wife. So don't generalize.
I'm coming now. If I don't give you, sometimes we call hypothesis. You have to draw a hypothesis when you are discussing. If you don't have an hypothesis, you cannot go to where you want to land. So I'm giving a hypothesis now that this is what, in this case, this kind of thing happens. Where you see a man, a 20-year-old boy, already has 4 wives, with 16 or 36 children. So by the time you are about to plan so that his life improves, the small boy that is going up again, he's increasing, but we don't have the statistics of all the people that are coming into this country illegally and the people who are supposed to do the right thing. This is what happens. The population aspect is there because it is not really controlled. So poverty will always come because the resources chasing that thing, the resources chasing what we have here becomes a problem. We cannot improve. Now, let's go back to how we can tackle this poverty, the state of poverty. You can also increase employment by creating jobs. And government has been doing that, increasing jobs in construction industry. Take for instance in Abuja, where the roads construction are going on. What happens? People from the informal sector are being employed because government is creating jobs. These are some of the things that government can do, and government is doing. So, if you don't look at it from that perspective alone, if you look at it as okay, we want everybody to come out of poverty. Of course, government should do better. Maybe they should increase, like we said the other time, maybe welfare. If they can't do welfare economics, you can get some people and you move them out of poverty, giving them loan. But the problem is that when you give loan, they don't want to bring it back. They run away with it. So we have it.
So whose fault is it?
We have a structural problem.
Whose fault is it?
You say, that's why you say let's talk like Nigerians. When you say let's talk like Nigerians, that means we are different from others.
Yes. When you say structural problem, who is supposed to fix the structure? Because you said something.
Yes.
One of the things, people will always say, politicians will always say, well, the president, all right, he's my president too. You need to know that. The president give appointments. Right? Then you will say the president will not go down to make those people carry out the responsibility he has given to them. You just say that. But then, what do you talk about the place of accountability and supervision in this country? Because as a father of the house, if you give people responsibility, there is need to check. If you're not checking, you appoint someone to do the checks because you have a lot of other things to do. So you appoint maybe the first son or somebody. It could even be the last son who knows how to do supervision, to supervise and account to you to ensure that the system is running smoothly. But we don't have that.
Let me add to that. Let me briefly add to what he said. The president recently came out to call out governors and said, don't focus on flyovers. I'm sure every single governor in the country will take that instruction.
And people gave him kudos for saying that.
Yes, that is called checks. So when we say the president cannot be everywhere, if he can come out and instruct governors and say, don't focus on flyovers, focus on more important things. He can also come out and call the important things, and give a scale of preference to things. And governors will run with it. I can bet you that governors would heed to that instruction of don't focus on flyovers.
Because he's still a father. He's in charge.
You see, we are running a federal system. If the president continues to dwell on the mandate of what the state is trying to do, it's not actually proper. Because some things government do, some of them could be priority. You go to places like Lafia, where they are doing flyovers everywhere now. If you see the kind of accident that was taking place there, the president is not there to see how many people were dying. Made probably just Kefi here, where there was no flyover in that Kefi place there. Trailers keep on, and the president comes up and says, oh, don't build flyovers. And you say, oh, it's kudos.
Where it's not necessary.
Where it is not necessary.
Actually put a
no, now you have come to that level now when it's not necessary.
Yes.
He put a clause.
Yes. Where governors are doing that is because maybe it is necessary.
Yes.
For instance,
but that's an instruction. That's what I'm trying to say. He could instruct governors. So the same way. Same way he can instruct on that, he can also follow up on different issues, and they will heed.
Yes, you are approaching these issues in too many fronts, so you are going to confuse the viewers here.
I don't think so.
If we are looking at it now, infrastructure-wise, I don't think the governors are doing well, considering the resources that are being given to them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm being realistic with it. Maybe they are doing it and we have not been told. Like I told you, if you look at I believe that this government is doing well in certain area, but we are not being told because the publicity that comes out of it is different. Look at what Wike does. Anything he put in place, everybody sees it. Not to come and say, and he will mention the figure, how much it was given for this contract for you to scrutinize. You understand? When Wike was building that city gate there, when we are passing, so what people was asking, what is he doing with this kind of thing? Everybody, if they tell you the kind of billion that was spent on that, but today that place has become a tourist center. So there are things that people do. You not just don't play to the gallery and say, oh, what they are doing is not right. Sometimes even this flyover they are building, it's also create employment. Don't get it wrong.
Temporary.
From the moment you can earn from there. If, for instance, there are people who are looking for only 100,000, 200,000, and you can get yourself as a laborer in this construction industry, but maybe for those 3 or 4 months that are doing that thing, you can be able to raise that 200,000 to this, and you won't come back again. You get engaged in another thing. Maybe you start selling granite or you start selling other things. So sometimes these are some of the things that are on ground.
You don't want to dish out granite selling and
no. Why you always say I'm only selling granite.
Your mind went to put it.
Okay, or you start selling red oil. Is that or you start selling pancake? Is that okay?
Why is it?
So I don't know why people always.
Or you start selling okrika.
Oh yes, it's a business. Okrika is moving. So people, you create any job that government does create employment somehow.
Okay.
You understand? Even the people are happy. You go to FCT here, you see most of those people are cleaning roads. Some of them, obviously, in those days that we were here, when people are cleaning roads, we asking why are people cleaning roads? But we now discover it's a source of employment because you give people job and they are all doing just little things. Government has the money. Government can get any money they want, but it depends on what they want to do with it. If you are going to create employment, look at are you dealing with the formal or the informal sector where you can create more jobs for people. If you don't do that, you mention one thing where you say something about money, corruption and stuff like that. People are stealing money and so people are actually stealing money. They are recovering money. Are you hearing me? Corruption is a bad thing for any democratic setting because obviously people begin to feel why are they getting involved in government and governance anyway, because obviously they are stealing money. But my problem with anti-graft agency is mainly some of their accusation is mainly on paper. But the moment you have arrested former governor, you take him to court, the case stay for 20 years. 50 years, or how many years? Some cases just died. But when they arrested some people who were all shouting, you were shouting, oh, these people are doing well. But where are these people? None of them have gone into the here. We would not see that. We don't see the final. No, it doesn't come out. So it's more like a sing-song agency. You have arrested somebody. Oh, that's the end.
But your party appointed them.
No, it is not a party thing now. We are talking of responsibility.
Okay, and accountability, yeah?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Accountability. So it's accountability I'm talking. The presidency, you can give me responsibility to do something, and I don't do it well. So the president changed somebody, another one comes in. Now, let me tell you something. The money that has been recovered from the
Emefiele
all the people there.
Emefiele, Achimogu,
some of them you can use it to create job.
But where does the money go to? It's money can still be put back to the system and help at least the poverty rate in Nigeria. My question is, where does it go to? Because we've heard that there are times that they just
looted money still being looted.
Auction these houses to themselves.
When you introduce me, what did you introduce me
as an economist?
Did you introduce me as somebody who is
an auctioneer? But the truth is,
you must know what's happening in your ear.
Let me tell you something now. This is where the thing gets interesting. It is supposed to be the work of the opposition. Atiku is supposed to be following up on these issues. Obi supposed to be following up on these issues. You have to keep government on their toes.
Yes.
But you are not doing that. You now wake up and Bishop, you now shout Bishop. I don't know more better.
But Atiku, Obi, every one of them have been speaking.
What did they say when they killed Deborah in Sokoto? What did any of them?
I think Atiku came out to speak.
He did. He has spoken now. What happened then? I didn't follow what happened then.
Spoke. I think Atiku spoke.
You don't know what happened then. You don't know what happened. Nobody spoke. So, but now we have an issue here where property is there. And we know that the president is doing something about it. But they too can do. Let me tell you something about this poverty reduction. This is not the duty of government to reduce poverty alone. It is the private sector that should be. You are here and are you not employed? You are employed by this person. Is it government that owns this place? No. You put up conditions where private sector can strive. Government don't get involved. We are still having this mentality, colonial mentality, where government does everything for us. Today, Dangote set up an industry, refinery. The one that was set up by government, are they functioning? No. They are not functioning. But the one that was set up by the private sector, encourage people should get queue in.
What about the enabling environment for these private sectors to thrive? I wouldn't want to tell you what is spent to sustain this place, just power alone.
Yes, exactly.
That is it.
So the same thing, there are a lot of private sectors have folded up. Yeah. People lost their job after the subsidy was removed, and so many of those kind of incidents. Yeah. Don't you think the government is not doing well as it has to do with enabling environment? Yeah. Power is something that is essential for individuals and businesses. But where are we today? Aso Rock, for instance, left the grid and they are now on solar. What about Nigerians that couldn't afford that? Talking about private sector, bringing up employment and tackling poverty now, do they have the enabling environment?
What exactly do you think they don't have? Is it the power sector you are talking about? Let's tackle that.
That is power.
Let's tackle that, because other things if you introduce other variables, it becomes very tedious for us.
Let's begin with power before we go to policies.
For me, the private sector, the power sector, the minister, I don't think he is actually doing well. He might be doing well, but he's not letting us know
what he's doing.
They're always putting a clause.
Yeah.
They are doing well, but they are not letting us know.
Because if you do this in silence and you don't allow people to know that this is what you are doing,
it means you're not
doing anything. You might be doing something that we don't know, because I don't know what they are doing.
I don't know either.
You don't know. Imagine you don't know. But let me ask you something. Look at it. Is Wike doing something or is not doing something?
Wike is trying his best.
Is Omahi doing something or they are not doing something?
Omahi is trying his best. I start to do.
Now, why did I say the power man, the power minister? You obviously, as you are saying, you don't know. So maybe they are doing something that we don't know. Because as it is now, what it was before, it is what it is now. That means nothing has changed. It looks as if something is changing, but something is not changing. So that's where the problem is coming from. But if there's something is changing, if something is changing, let us know.
And we hear that 2027 there will be subsidy removal from the electricity.
And when we get there, we'll tackle that issue then. But as it is now, the government needs to do something more. Let them tell us what they can do. You see, this power sector is not rocket science. You can introduce a lot of type of electricity reform that can be able to bring more electricity to us. You can't do anything without power.
Exactly.
That's where the problem is coming from. And the people, what they are doing there is just to build people and collect money, and there's nothing there. Even when government get involved too much in certain things, there's always a problem. And the power sector, take for instance, if I was the president of this country, we have problem now. The Iran-US war, it is what is causing fuel price to increase.
Even when it went down, though.
The war came back again.
Yes,
and
but
when it went down,
it went down at some point. It didn't reflect in Nigeria.
At least it came back to 1,000 or 1,015 naira.
Nigeria.
Yeah,
it was 1,300.
It was 1,300. I bought it at one. It was about 2 weeks ago. It was I think 115.
That has to be
50. It's a marginal.
It's special fuel.
Maybe
it's a marginal.
Maybe it's this Dangote.
No. NNPC sold it. Almost everybody sold it. I bought it. I buy for.
How long did that last?
So, but don't if you talk too much, it will not get to where we are going to.
Continue.
Now,
talk again.
Yes, you wait. So if for instance the crude oil is the crude crude price is what is causing problem, that the price of fuel is increasing. You can call Dangote and tell him, okay, for this period I want you to bring down the price of fuel, or let it remain normal. We have removed subsidy in everything, but I am going to give you, just for this period, I'm going to give you crude first in naira form for 3 months. Not, you don't have to buy it with dollar again. Then this period, maybe if crude oil was supposed to, because the budget peg is about $60 to barrel. So, and it's now 80 to 100. You can say, okay, we are going to make something out of it. Bring down the price of crude oil. Let us remove even the taxes that are on fuel. On fuel, let us also remove them for everybody, so that we can be able to say that it's just a short period. Government can have human face at just 1, 3, 4, 6 months.
I think I'll vote for
yes, you. Yes, that's what I should have done. But for you to say you are leaving everything, I'm an economy. You don't leave everything to market force, demand and supply. When you leave it, sometimes you have to intervene. When you don't intervene, there will be a problem. That is what I think the government is not doing, or the Minister of Petroleum is not actually telling the president that we have a refinery now that can almost do everything. Let's do this just for this period. Immediately the Iraq-Iran war stops, we now go back to the status quo, so that we can move forward. If I was the one, that is where I think the power sector will be able to be addressed properly. And if I was also the one, I will also make sure that we start looking into having building more refineries, not by government again, no.
Private
sector.
But a lot of people have licenses. They are not doing nothing about it. Are you aware?
That is your country now. Am I the one that
my country?
It's your country now.
My country.
So that is and two, to create more jobs again. You want to know how jobs can be created. If I was the president, I will make sure that any firm that is earning $1 billion or $2 billion should take up sport. Look for a club to sponsor.
Club in what sense?
Club.
Football club.
You sponsor.
Football
You must
handball club.
You must buy at least all the food. If you earn more than
just in form of PPP.
Yes. You just not in PPP. Just make sure you are sponsoring. Maybe buying T-shirt or doing all those kind of things. Yes, buy all those
them
things.
Allowances
yes,
once in a while.
You are the one who does that. Not only football, all the sport. You can even pick the Paralympics, all of them, and sponsor anyone you can. It should be a policy or a law that you can't be earning
making so much.
You can't be earning so much, and you are not. If you do that, many people will enter sport. Look at some sport in this country now. Some of them are not. We don't even play them outside this country. They don't even exist, and they are making millions and millions and millions from them. So why not encourage? Let the private sector get engaged. Let them be involved in that. There was a time that in Jos they used to have GIB football strikers. It was just in breweries when we were still there. They had a football team where they sponsored, and they went places. So other people can take up on that one. Maybe the globe, your television too. What you need to do is to pick up one particular football or maybe squash, and to get interested in one thing that your boss does, and you begin to sponsor them. Focus on that sport. When you focus on that sport, the people begin to look at it and begin to do, because you are doing a great job here. There are people who are seeing you all the time.
All right, Ajia, we can't continue anymore because of our time.
Yeah, okay.
I wish we could continue. I think you need to return so that we can talk more, because I've not even gotten into campaign yet, because I wanted to ask you a question about politicians that has to do with campaign. August is the month for campaign. So the next time you're returning,
and I'm in the mood now.
You are in the mood now. So we invite you. We'll talk more. We'll talk more about that. Thank you very much,
Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you, Gia, for coming on the program. It's been a very wonderful time. All right, everyone, this is the size of the conversation for you today. We'd like to inform you that Global Television is not part of the editorials from the various newspaper houses. And of course, the opinion of our guests is entirely theirs and not that of Global Television. From me, it is thanks for joining us. We expect you to be part of Global Television all the time. My name is Ramsey Enoch.
And I am Priscilla Obasi, wishing you an amazing day ahead. Bye for now.